Cool, y'all. Welcome to another Steel Mace Building Blocks community class. This one, though, we're going to be rocking an Indian club flow. Now, this is a flow that can be translated to the steel mace, but I'm going to be playing with it with a club today, as are the people joining me here live online. Now, we're going to start off, of course, just with one thing, and then we're going to scale up. We're going to flow build today. We're going to add a move, add a move, add a move, add a move, and go from there. So the first move that we're going to be rocking is an in and out helicopter. With the one club, I'm going to be starting in my T shape. I like to make sure that my palm is facing the ground here. I'm going to flick it forward so that it's in a hammer grip. From there, I'm going to let that momentum follow and let that club keep turning until the pommel is on my heart. Once it is, I'm going to grab with the other hand, and then I'm going to follow the momentum still turning until I find that T shape on the other side, flicking back to saber grip. So I flick it to hammer, spin it in once, grab it, continue the momentum, and flick it to saber. And in 3, 2, 1, let's just do a minute of that. Flick, spin and catch, spin and flick. Flick, spin, catch, and follow through. And then we're just in and out like that. That in and out helicopter, nice and smooth, nice and strong, nice and controlled, owning lines, owning angles. Best, y'all. Cool, just like that. Nice, simple grip switches. Following the momentum with it. Now, one of the keys here that I'm noticing is if your palm is up and you flick the hammer, the club will go backwards and momentum will not be able to work. Your palm needs to face the ground so that when you flick the hammer, the club's pointing in front of you, and then you can follow its momentum that way, which allows you to catch and follow through to there. Good, we want to make sure that that club is pointing forward. Cool, y'all keep rocking that for a little bit. I just got to adjust my camera angle, I noticed. Right? That's much better. All right, cool. What we're going to do now is add what's called an Indian cross transition. So starting on my left side, I'm going to let the club fall. Once it connects with my body, I'm going to lift it up and over my head. I'm then going to drop it down as though I'm swinging a 360, but I'm going to drive my elbow through my heart so that the club can slice across and splash back to T. From here, I'm going to helicopter across just like we were, so I'm on the other side. From there, same thing. I'm going to let it fall and lift in that Indian cross transition. Elbow drives through face and heart so I can splash back out. Flick and spin to the other side. We find the Indian cross. Lift, drop, splash. Back out to that helicopter. Then the Indian cross. Lift, drop, splash. Helicopter. Then we go the other side. Lift, drop, splash. Once we hit our T, we helicopter across. So we're doing one Indian cross transition, and then we're using that helicopter, switch sides. Lift, drop, splash, helicopter. Lift, drop, splash, helicopter. Now, if the Indian cross is feeling weird for you, remember, we're letting it fall. Once it connects the body, we're lifting it up overhead. And then we're dropping it in, getting that elbow across the face through the heart so we can splash back out to T. We helicopter across. We'll let the arm fall and lift. Elbow drives home, splashing back to T. Helicoptering across. We let it fall and lift and drop it through. So remember, this is not a heart shape. That club is going to point across the body. It's going to stay pointing across the body before we drive that elbow. That's what changes the direction of it. Then we find the helicopter to the other side. We lift and we drop it. Then we drive that elbow. Then we find that helicopter. We lift it and drop it, splash it back out before finding the helicopter. But now, starting again on the left side, let's add our next step. Cool thing with this is you can keep just practicing what we were doing, or you can add the next step. The next step is going to be an outward heart shape. So I'm going to let my arm fall. It's going to bend, flicking to hammer grip. It's going to open and extend, flicking to saber grip, and then it's going to fall again. Then we're into that Indian cross. We lift it and we drive that elbow just like we did before. Back out to T, we find that helicopter across. From there, we're gonna lift it for that heart shape, bend, open, extend. Then we find the Indian cross. Lift the hand, drive the elbow, splashing back. Then we helicopter. So again, all we're adding is that outward heart shape now. We do one outward heart shape, bend, open, extend, and then we find the Indian cross. Lift and drive the elbow. And then we helicopter to the other side. We heart shape, outward heart, bend, open, extend. Then we Indian cross. lift, drive the elbow, and splash. Then we helicopter to the other side. Once again, we find the heart shape, we find the Indian cross transition, and then we helicopter. Heart shape, cross, copter. Heart shape, bend, open, extend, cross, lift and drive, helicopter. Now, key to this, it has to be an outward heart shape or it's not going to work. We bend, open, extend, outward heart. Then we use the Indian cross to change our momentum. Now we'd be going inward before we flick and spin back to the other side. Arm falls. So we can find outward heart, then the Indian cross transition, and then the helicopter. Heart shape. We cross. We helicopter. We heart shape. We cross. We helicopter. Heart shape. We cross. We helicopter. Heart shape. We cross. We helicopter. Heart shape. Cross. Helicopter. Heart shape. Cross. Helicopter. Heart shape. Cross. Helicopter. Back and forth like that. Smooth and controlled. We'll get a couple more reps with this combination before we throw the next move in. Of course, you can continue to just work the move that you're working. That is not a problem at all. Now, what's going to happen next, we'll start again on that left side, is we're going to add an inward heart shape. So this will happen after that Indian cross transition. So we'll find our outward, bend, open, and extend. Then we find our Indian cross, lifting and driving the elbow. Then we find an inward heart, lift, tuck, turn, slice. Then we find our helicopter. We repeat that on the other side. Outward heart, bend, open, extend, Indian cross transition, tuck and drive, inward heart, tuck, turn, slice, and then helicopter across to the other side. Same idea. We find our outward heart, we find our Indian cross transition, and now we find our new move, the inward heart, which is tuck, turn, slice. Then helicopter back through to the other side to repeat again. Outward heart, Indian cross transition, inward heart, helicopter. Outward heart, bend, open, extend, Indian cross, lift, drive, splash, inward heart, tuck, turn, slice, helicopter back home. Heart, cross, heart, helicopter. Heart, cross, heart, helicopter. Heart, cross, heart, helicopter. Good. Heart, cross, heart, helicopter. Back and forth like that. Owning our grip switches. Tucking, turning, slicing, smooth, strong control. Now, I mentioned this could be translated into steel mace flow. Yes, of course it can. The only difference is instead of the helicopter, you would do like a prayer switch, a unicorn prayer switch ideally, or horizon prayer switch as it's called. And then with the heart shapes, instead of going full proper hearts, you would just do mills instead to help protect the shoulder. Difference being, in a heart shape, we expand to our Y shape. In a mill, we only expand to the T shape. But you can do it with the mace as well. Bend, open, extend, tuck, turn, drive, tuck, turn, slice, smooth and strong. Helicopter switches across. Best with it. Own lines, own angles, keep control. Good. If you ever get stuck, feel free to throw a few additional heart shapes. That's the nice thing with the hearts, is you can kind of just string them. Same with other moves we'll be adding today. Those first two, the helicopter and the Indian cross, well, those are transitions. So they only really work unless you're throwing another transition, just the one time by itself. The rest of them you can throw over and over and over and over. Good. Nice and controlled with it. Using our time to get some good practice reps here. And of course, to open things up a little bit. Just doing it once or twice ain't gonna cut it. We gotta learn it. We gotta open things up. We gotta work with it. Good, we'll hit just a couple more reps of this combination before we switch it to the next one. Or by that, I mean before we add our next move. Cool, y'all. Nice and strong with it, nice and controlled with it, continuing to find your best with it. Next time you get to the left hand, we'll be looking at our next movement. So I'm now going to add an outward low elbow circle. So that's right on the fall. So the arm's gonna fall, I'm gonna turn a circle just with my elbow. Then I'm gonna find my heart shape again. And then everything stays the same. We find our Indian cross transition, then we find our inward heart shape, and then we find that helicopter to the other side. Once we finish, again, little circle with the elbow first, whoosh, full circle, then we find our heart shape, bend, open, extend, and then we find our Indian cross transition before our inward heart shape, and then that helicopter to take us to the other side. Again, starting with the elbow, trying to keep saber grip, I really think about my palm angle, and then heart shape, Indian cross transition, inward heart shape, in and out helicopter. Low elbow, heart, cross transition, heart, and helicopter. Low elbow, heart, cross, in heart, helicopter. Low elbow, heart, cross, in heart, helicopter. Heart, or pardon me, low elbow, then heart, then Indian cross, then in heart, and then helicopter. Elbow, heart, cross, heart, helicopter. Owning grips, owning grip switches, smooth superior to speed, control is our goal, we're owning our lines, we're owning our angles. Yes, this still can be translated with a mace. You just have to really be aware of your grip and tail control. Good, staying smooth with it, staying controlled with it. Best here. Capitalizing on time, using opportunity, accepting that sometimes the brain food will be a little too crunchy and we might slip up. That's all right. Part of smoothing it out. Brain food, nourishment for the mind. We want it to be challenging but doable. As we add moves, we take more time with the combination, with the flows, so that we can let that brain food digest. We can let it sink into the body. Of course, we can get those good practice reps, and that all just does wonders for the body when it's all said and done. Wins everywhere. Good. Staying smooth, staying controlled, owning our lines, owning our angles, finding our best. Nice and smooth with it, nice and controlled with it, best with it, own and earn. Sometimes I feel like I might be skipping over the in hearts just because the Indian crosses feel so smooth currently. I wonder. Also, if you want to add flair to this, your own additional flair, there is so much opportunity for moulinettes here. It is ridiculous. For example, I could hit a reverse there and a forward there before hitting that Indian cross, and then I could hit a reverse there and a forward there before helicoptering through. Of course, that's additional flair. There's no need to do that if you don't want to do it. It's just, a way of making things even more complex, which I jive with sometimes. I suppose technically we could add inside wrist rolls into all that as well, but now I've confused myself because I was trying to talk while doing it. As a reminder, we're at low elbow, outward heart, Indian cross, inward heart, helicopter. Low elbow, outward heart, Indian cross, inward heart, helicopter. Elbow, heart, cross, heart, helicopter. All right, now that we're back on the left side release I'm going to implement the next move. Maybe you've already guessed it, but we're going to add that low elbow to the inward as well. So we let the arm fall. We have our low elbow, and then we have our heart. And then we have our Indian cross. And now we have another low elbow right here before we find our inward heart. Duck, turn, slice. And then from there, we're helicoptering back across. Low elbow, heart, cross. Low elbow, heart, helicopter. You see the pattern? Elbow, heart, transition, which is that Indian cross. Elbow, heart, transition, which is that in and out helicopter to the other side. Elbow, heart, transition, the Indian cross. Elbow, heart, transition, which is that helicopter. Elbow, heart, cross. Elbow, heart, helicopter. After we finish the helicopter, we let the club fall. That leads our momentum for that low elbow, pardon me. We have our heart. Then we change the momentum with that Indian cross. Now we're going inward for an elbow, and then inward for a heart. And then we helicopter again. Let it fall to follow momentum. We go low elbow to our heart. Then we use the Indian cross to change the club's momentum, finding an elbow again, and then the heart. Good. Then we helicopter. Low elbow, heart, transition, of course the Indian cross. Low elbow, heart, transition, that helicopter. Elbow, heart, cross. Elbow, heart, helicopter. Elbow, heart, cross. Elbow, heart, helicopter. In that inward elbow that we've added to, again, palm angles make a huge difference as to how that works. I also recommend trying to keep the elbow tight to the ribs. You'll have to really think about driving it in. Highly recommended. Another thing is, of course, if we do want additional flair, you do not need to add any additional flair. But if you do want to spice it up, again, there's all sorts of opportunities for moulinette. Best. Elbow, heart, cross. Elbow, heart, helicopter. Elbow, heart, cross. Elbow, heart, helicopter. After the helicopter, we go outward, right? Because we're following momentum, letting the club fall. After that Indian cross, that changes our momentum. So now we're going inward and following our momentum. That lets us splash back to T so we can get a smoother switch to that helicopter. Elbow, heart, cross. elbow, heart, helicopter. Elbow, heart, cross, elbow, heart, helicopter. Very good, y'all. Staying smooth with it, staying controlled with it. Smooth is superior to speed. Control is the goal. We do not want to rush our way through this. We want to own lines and angles, find end ranges, capitalize on our grip switches. Keep it smooth, keep it controlled. Best. We're gonna play with this combo for a little less than 1 more minute before we switch and add the next step. Again, one of the beauties of the flow builder done in this way is if there's a step you don't want to do, you don't have to do it. Feel free to ignore. Work with whatever the edge of the comfort zone looks like for you. Maybe you need more. Well, fantastic. Beautiful thing about clubs is we can always add additional layers with those wrist rolls, those moulinettes, or inside wrist rolls, depending on when and where we throw them. Cool, y'all. So again, we have our elbow, then our heart, then our cross, then our low elbow, then our heart, and then our helicopter. Starting on our left side, we'll add the new move, which is going to be an outward full moon. So it's going to go in right before that elbow circle, meaning we're going to draw a full moon, a big shoulder circle. Then we're going to go low elbow circle, and then we'll find our heart shape. Then we'll find that Indian cross, which is directions. Everything's the same here. We have our elbow, and then our heart, and then our helicopter. Full moon, so big shoulder circle. Low elbow, heart shape, Indian cross. Low elbow, heart shape, helicopter. We'll follow the momentum to that outward full moon. Low elbow, heart shape, Indian cross, elbow, heart shape, helicopter. Again, following on momentum, we got full, then elbow, then heart, then cross, then helicopter. Full, low, heart, cross. Low, heart, helicopter. Full, low, heart, cross. Low, heart, helicopter. If we wanted more spice, there's opportunity for moulinette in that full moon, just as a note. Again, absolutely do not need to add any extra spice a day if you don't want. And as mentioned, you can also take layers off the flow builder if it's a little too much for you. Listen to your body. Nice and smooth with it. Nice and controlled with it. One step, one rep at a time. Full, low, heart, cross. Low, heart, helicopter. Full, low, heart, cross. Low, heart, helicopter. Full, low, heart, cross. Low, heart, helicopter. In that full moon, palm angles again are a key to making it as smooth as we can. We just keep a saber grip on that one the whole time. Sharper the saber grip, the better, obviously. But we're keeping it smooth and controlled. Again, whether we're adding that additional flare or not, or maybe sometimes we are and sometimes we aren't, we're focused on owning lines and angles, keeping smooth and controlled, finding best. Full moon, then low elbow circle, then heart shape, then Indian cross. Low elbow again, then heart, and then that helicopter cross. Outward full moon. I call them full moon, some people call them shoulder circles. I just find full moons a little bit more descriptive, especially when every other move's like heart shape or snakes. Add a little bit of cool factor to it. Plus then it fits with all the other things I have, all the other moons. Gotta like that. Oh, not my full moon. Haha. I was thinking about the timing a little too hard, apparently. Got slipped up. All right, just a little bit more to play with this combination before we add our final step to the combination and hit that full flow. Maybe one more on each side before we make that switch. At least that's what I'm gonna have time for. Right, so as the club gets to my left hand, I'm going to be adding in the inward full moon. So it just happens before the inward elbow circle. So we have our full moon, then we have the low elbow, then our heart shape, and then our Indian cross. All that's the same. Now we're going to add a full moon here as well. Full moon, low elbow, heart shape, and then we're helicoptering. So we have full, low elbow, heart. Transition, this case being the Indian cross. Then same thing, full, elbow, heart, transition. This time the helicopter. Full, elbow, heart, cross. Full, elbow, heart, helicopter. Full, elbow, heart, cross, full, elbow, heart, helicopter. Full, elbow, heart, cross, full, elbow, heart, helicopter. Full, elbow, heart, transition, of course that being cross. Same thing, full, elbow, heart, transition, this time being that helicopter. We want additional spice, of course. We have opportunities for all sorts of wrist rolls, especially now that we've added that inward full moon. We could throw a reverse right there. If I wanted to go full spice, I wonder if I could. I'll try on this next one. Not this one. So, this is the other side, at least for me. All right. Full moulinette spice would be forward moulinette, elbow, reverse, forward, Indian cross, and I'd have reverse in the full, low elbow, reverse on the way up, forward on the way down, and then helicopter. Haha, that's full moulinette with moulinette and full 2 in the heart transition, full elbow, 2 in the heart transition. Aha, nailing it. Wonder if I could add inside this one. The answer is yes. So far. Oh, I hate the inside wrist roll there. Definitely doable. Tricky as heck, but definitely doable. There's lots and lots of practice under my belt in these movements. Almost forgot the entire flow there for a second. So what comes next? All right, so again, from square, we have full, low elbow, heart. And then we find our Indian cross transition, going full, low elbow, heart. Helicopter switches. We got full, low elbow, heart. Indian cross switches. Again, full, low elbow, heart. Helicopter switches. Full, low elbow, heart. Indian cross switches. Full, low elbow, heart. Helicopter. Full, low elbow, heart. Indian cross. Full, pardon me, low elbow, heart. Helicopter. Full, low elbow, heart. Indian cross. Full, low elbow, heart. Then we got the helicopter. We'll play for 2 more minutes. Feel free to add any additional spice or flair that you would like. From there, we'll be wrapping it. We'll be calling it a day. So finishing smooth and controlled with it, trying to make this last couple minutes the best couple minutes for you. Nice and strong, nice and controlled. Best you can, yes you can. Own it and earn it. Remember to breathe. If we wanted to add a little bit more to this, there is, of course, all sorts of opportunities. You can, once you get a move going or like a pattern going inward or outward, really you can throw any move in there with them that's continuing the same direction without any additional things to have to be accounted for technically. That said, what I was playing with earlier to add a little spice and flair to it was throwing another transition in just to get into that helicopter a little bit more funky. So if you saw what I did there, cool. If you didn't, I'm gonna do it again one more time. Again, you don't have to do this. I'm gonna be wrapping this session in a second anyways. Whoops, I should have been a full moon. I just want to show off a little bit. But from that tuck and turn, I can drop into a crescent and splash it out before helicoptering it home. So again, full elbow, heart. Indian cross switches me for full elbow, heart. And if I wanted to get extra fancy, I'd throw a crescent there and then helicopter off the top. But again, that is not something I'm actually adding right now. That's just a little bit of flash and flare. But with that, my friends, that is what I have for you today in this Indian Club flow builder, in this building block session, in this community class, whatever you want to call it. That's what I got for you. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit more opened up than when you walked in. Hopefully all that made sense. And of course, if it didn't, hit me up. I've got your back. If you are watching the YouTube and you want to learn those moves in a little bit more depth, a little bit more detail, hey, check out Steel Mace Building Blocks as we've got tutorials. But that's what I got for you this time. Talk to you again soon, y'all. Peace and love.